What if I told you that there's a way to get loans peer-to-peer between people without ever having to deal with the bank?
This crypto and that blockchain, that blockchain, that blockchain. Yeah. This crypto and that blockchain, that blockchain.
Boy, Cassius Cuvée.
This crypto and that blockchain. This crypto and that blockchain. This crypto and that blockchain.
What's poppin'? It's your boy Cassius Cuvée, first artist to ever make an NFT music video. I'm here with my boy XNL. What's poppin'?
Hey, how we doing, Cassius? How's it going?
Man, doing great, man. Today we got to talk about DeFi. What is DeFi? Because the first time it was ever told to me, I was like, what the hell is DeFi? He said Decentralized Finance. I was like, what is that? Shout out my man Big John. I met him on the plane to the Bitcoin conference. He was like, you know how we have a central bank? Decentralized finance is what this is. And I was like, oh, now I get it. Decentralized finance. We don't need the banks anymore. But I want you to go into some of the nuances of DeFi. What is the difference? Why is it called DeFi? And then what does it mean when you have like a DeFi project, like the difference in different cryptocurrencies?
All right, for sure. So DeFi is short for decentralized finance, like you said. It's a broad term that encompasses many different functions, most notably smart contracts. That's kind of the central crux of all of DeFi, okay? I would say for me personally, what it represents is automation and non-middleman interactions between parties, okay? So examples of DeFi would be staking. What is staking? So you have like lending pools, staking on liquidity pools, and staking in governance pools, okay?
Let me cut to the chase.
We can go into
staking
all that.
Staking is how you make money.
Yeah.
Staking is how you earn yield. This is how you earn money.
Exactly.
That's why staking
is
important.
That passive income. This is that passive income, sitting on the toilet, you're just making money, okay?
Most people say while they sleeping, but XNL says while you're sitting on the toilet. Okay, yeah, making money.
Yeah, man. Like, that's pretty much the gist of it.
I'm getting paid while I'm shitting. All right.
There you go, man. There's so many different use cases of DeFi that I don't really know. I'll start with the lending pools. This is an easy way to like make sense for it. So how do you usually get a loan?
You got to go to the bank,
right? You got to go to the bank, right? What if I told you that there's a way to get loans peer-to-peer between people without ever having to deal with the bank? And there's whole applications, there's whole websites, there's whole platforms that you can just go anonymously, privately, not even having to know the other person, and safely and securely,
right,
without ever having to worry about you being the borrower or you being the issuer of the loan, having to deal with somebody running off with your money.
That's right. The key. And that's what blockchain technology is about. It makes everything secure without having to have that middleman. It's decentralized. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So one platform I'll give them a shout out is called Nexo. It's a lending platform to where you can provide or borrow loans through cryptocurrency, and they're over collateralized loans. So for example, if I want to borrow one Ethereum or one Bitcoin, okay, I have to be able to put down 1.5 Bitcoin to borrow that. And you're maybe thinking, why would I borrow 1 Bitcoin but still have to provide 1.5 Bitcoin to borrow more, right? Well, you're borrowing against the asset. You don't want to buy more Bitcoin because you're probably finding some other pool where you can lend that Bitcoin for even a higher rate than what you're paying to borrow the Bitcoin off somebody else on Nexo. So let's say you're borrowing it for 5% APR, like you're paying 5% to borrow that Bitcoin. You might find somebody else to loan it out to for 8% profit on some other platform. Does that make sense? So you're basically making 3% on that borrowing.
Right, or you can trade it or do whatever. I mean, you give yourself
and you can trade it.
So
exactly.
For me as a person, I say hodler. I heard some people say hodler. I say hodler, but I got diamond. Thank you. I was gonna have a whole conversation about that too. Fuck hodler. It's hodler. I always say that. I'm a hodl mine, and I'll never spell clout without a $sign. Anyways, that's from my song. You do it for the clout. But for example, Nexo or Celsius, you know what I'm saying? I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, I have Polkadot, I have Polygon, I got Mana. I have a bunch of things where I can stake it on that platform, and basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're loaning it out to people, which is why I'm getting that juicy 5%, 8%, 9%. I'm getting 9, or I was getting 10%. It fluctuates a little bit depending on the pool, but it's an interest rate fluctuation. But like I was making 10% of my Polygon, so it's a greater incentive for me to want a diamond hands, which means you don't sell like paper hands. Just hold it. I don't have to worry about the fluctuations of Polygon going up and down every day. I'm like, man, I'm earning 9-10%. I'm good.
And Nexus is really centralized. The real decentralized lending pool will be called AAVE, AAVE, and that's built on Ethereum's blockchain. That's got no middleman. Nobody runs their company. There ain't no company behind AAVE. There's nobody, like, there's no CEO, there's no customer support or anything like that. So yeah, that may sound risky, but the fact is it's totally anonymous too. You don't provide any information. There's no personal information or anything like that. And the same thing applies with the collateralized loans. If I want to borrow your one Ethereum, I got to put down 1.2 Ethereum to borrow that. So if I don't pay it back on time or whatever, my Ethereum just gets wiped from my wallet. Like, I have to actually submit it in there.
Same as a secured loan. Secured loan. Yeah, exactly. But let's briefly touch on this real quick, because we're going to go into wallets. I'm going to have you on again to talk about the different type of wallets and security. Security is very important in crypto, and I definitely want everybody watching to learn about security and be safe. I got a lot of tips on that. But before we get into wallets, we'll talk about that in the next episode. But I want you to talk about the difference between the centralized, like, lending system or exchange or whatever, just a little bit the difference between decentralized and centralized exchanges or lending platforms or whatever.
Centralized has a middleman. Somebody runs it, somebody operates it. There's mechanisms of control that somebody can pull the levers and actually do things behind it. Decentralized, it's off in the wild. Essentially, nobody has, there's no sort of centralized control area. It's like, think of like the Wizard of Oz, kind of, where the Wizard of Oz is behind the levers, pulling all the strings and things like that.
That's what we have now.
Yeah, that's what we have now.
That's what we have now. Coinbase is a centralized company. There's a CEO, publicly traded.
Somebody's sitting behind there pulling the levers. On a decentralized system, there's no one there. It's like nature. Like, it just happens. It's just biology, it's just organic.
Technology is what provides the safety and security of it. You don't need a trusted bank or a trusted middleman.
It's just cryptography. It's just math.
Exactly. Cryptography. It's math. So no one can cheat the next person. Like you said, you can't run off with your money.
And that math is openly available. It's through open source. You can look that up. So people who code, people who program can look at that and see, oh, this math looks legit. It doesn't look like there's any viruses. It doesn't look like there's any back doors or anything for somebody to access that in a malicious way. There doesn't look like there's any vulnerabilities in their code, in their math.
Right. And that's the whole point of being public and open and not private. So, but it was invented for peer-to-peer lending. So without a trusted middleman, this math is the trusted middleman. So that's kind of what a little bit we got kind of deep in the weeds, but that's okay, because some of the people want to know that next layer of information. But that's decentralized finance.
Yeah, one little tiny bit of it.
Just one piece of it, right? We're gonna have man. We got to talk about smart contracts in a minute, but we're gonna come back to that. We got to, you know what? They got to tap in, because wallets. This is how you keep your money safe. This is how you keep your crypto safe. So make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down there if you use any of the decentralized finance exchanges or anything like that. I want to know what people are using. But stay tuned, like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for the next one, because we're going to tell you about the different type of wallets that you can store your crypto in.
100%. Thanks for having me on, Cassius.
For sure.
Conference 2021. You missed a good one if you wasn't there. Taking over the game, man. NFTs, all that. That's how we get it, man. Artists taking it back for ourselves.